There's a kind of hidden currency in India. It's something that's way more valuable than money, but it's also distributed even more unfairly than wealth. It's a currency where some people are basically billionaires, while others, well, they go bankrupt every single day. So, what is this currency? I can tell you it's not the rupee, it's not gold, and you definitely can't store it in a bank. It's something you spend every single second, whether you want to or not.
The currency is time. Yeah, we're about to dive into this parallel economy that runs not on rupees, but on hours and minutes. An economy that you're a part of, but maybe have never really stopped to think about. To really get a handle on this frantic, modern economy of time, we've got to go back. We need to look at the exact moment when time itself became something you could buy and sell. For centuries, right, we didn't really measure time, we just observed it. The rising sun, the changing seasons, that was our clock. But then the mechanical clock in the factory showed up, and suddenly time became this linear, divisible, measurable thing. It could be bought and it could be sold. The 9 to 5 wasn't just a schedule, it was a total revolution in how we lived. And that's when the phrase, time is money, was born. And this shift was profound. I mean, life was no longer cyclical. It was the straight line, broken up into shifts. A factory horn blasting at 8 a.m., a rushed 15-minute lunch break, a specific time slot for the news on TV. Our lives became organized not by nature, but by a rigid timetable. We all thought technology and the pandemic would change this, right? Work from home promised all this flexibility, a chance to finally reclaim our time. But for so many of us, it did the exact opposite. It actually created this new, much more subtle kind of prison. Think about it. The boundaries between work and life just completely dissolved. Your boss could call at midnight. A Zoom meeting could pop up at any moment. That 8-hour sprint became a 12, sometimes even a 16-hour marathon, turning our time into a luxury that only a select few could really afford. This feeling, this constant pressure, it actually has a name: time poverty. It's that chronic, nagging anxiety that you're always behind, always running, with a to-do list that just never, ever shrinks. It's become the defining stress of our modern lives. And this chart really shows you the sheer scale of the problem here in India. An average worker in Mumbai puts in a staggering 3,300 hours a year. Now, to put that into perspective, that's nearly double the hours worked in a city like Berlin. We are literally working more than almost anyone else on the planet, which, let's be honest, explains why so many of us feel like we never have enough time.
Okay, to make this really hit home, let's look at 3 different lives. All of them are operating within the same 24 hours in the same country. This is where the inequality of time really truly comes to life. So first, let's meet Lakshmi. She's up at 4 a.m. to start cooking. For her, time isn't something to manage with apps and calendars. It's something she has to find, to steal back from the day. Saving 1 minute on her commute means 1 extra minute of precious sleep. Taking a shortcut means she can clean 1 more house, adding just a few more rupees toward her son's education. For her, every single second is a battle for survival. Then we have Rohit. He's 28, a rising tech star on LinkedIn, earning more than 90% of his peers. He's got the financial wealth down, but he is desperately time poor. He can afford pretty much anything he wants, except for the one thing he can't buy back. He genuinely can't remember the last time he just sat down and had a simple, unhurried meal with his parents. And finally, let's meet Maya. She's a 45-year-old founder. Now, she's also incredibly busy, but she's not time poor, she's time rich. So how does she do it? She doesn't just work harder, she builds systems. She has a team for her business and support at home. Through really smart, strategic delegation, she effectively turns her 24 hours into what feels like 48. And this right here, this illustrates the great divide. On one side, you have the time poor, Lakshmi, who is just focused on surviving, and Rohit, who is sacrificing his life for his career. And on the other side, you have the time rich, like Maya, who isn't just surviving or sacrificing, she's actively strategizing to multiply her most valuable asset. So, the big question is, how do we cross this divide? How do any of us become time rich? And here's the secret. It's not about productivity hacks or waking up even earlier. It's about a fundamental shift in how you see things. Let's just be honest with ourselves for a second. We are a generation that is perpetually exhausted. But it's not because we're working harder than our parents did. It's because even when we stop working with our hands, our minds never stop. We immediately pick up our phones, scrolling through reels, just feeding our brains constant stimulation. We've actually forgotten how to simply be.
So, how do we start to build a path forward? It really comes down to 3 simple steps. First, stop trying to win every single day. Instead, try to win the week. Plan your big priorities weekly to ease that daily pressure. Second, spend just 5 minutes a day completely alone. No phone, no music, no distractions. Just you and your own thoughts. And third, you have to create firm boundaries, real lines in the sand between your work, your relationships, and your personal time.
A nurse who spent her life with people on their deathbeds, she compiled their biggest regrets. And the number one regret wasn't about money or fame. It was this: I wish I had listened to myself more, and not so much to the world. See, you can always earn more money, but you can never, ever earn more time. So the final question isn't just about money, it's about you. What are you spending your most valuable currency on?